Hello, this is Emily, and this is my confused undergrad series.
Yeah. Nice.
We
Perfect word. This is going to be completely unintelligible, completely impossible to understand.
Yeah, super confusing series undergrad.
Yep, that is our goal. And with that, and no segue, we will jump right into the first question. Okay, Emily, how did you relate to the community you grew up in, and how do you think that informed your approach to life and design?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. So I grew up in a pretty tight-knit community.
Okay.
I went to a really, really small art school since I was in grade 4. So since I was 8 or 9 up till 18. So I think being surrounded by or being exposed to a lot of really talented and unique people and sort of understanding people through what their interests are and what drives them really motivated myself. So I think
Nice.
I couldn't ask for a better experience at all.
Yeah, no, that's super awesome, especially when you're at such a young age and you're taught to be creative and value your own artistic voice.
Yeah, definitely. Even just making decisions, like making decisions on, or like learning about school through a different lens and making choices and, you know, what you're interested in, what like keeps you up at night when you're supposed to go to bed, those things. So I think it
yeah.
you know.
But so that's talking a lot about the people around you, but what kind of person would you say you were before you got into this program?
I was a pretty quiet, conserved person. I think part of me still is, but I think the person who I was before was always sort of an observer. I like to sort of be in the room and observe other people and get to know other people. It's hard to tell if I've changed because it's hard to imagine myself in first year because I'm still the same person, but I think I have changed a lot from that, and not saying I'm not, you know.
yeah I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So like what are some of the other changes that you've noticed just in your personality or approach to work or design or anything since first year?
My exposure to sort of seeing what's out there and not being afraid has probably been my biggest change, I think. I think definitely the co-op program and traveling and sort of really putting myself out there and in I would say really uncomfortable situations, you know. We've all sort of experienced like either the small things like losing your luggage at the airport trying to get to wherever you're working and having to work the next day to
that's insane.
Yeah,
that's tough.
To like not even knowing the language of the city you're living in. I think those have really put me, you know, it's very uncomfortable, and I think I've grown a lot to know that whatever happens, it will be okay. And I think I've come out learning so much from that.
Yeah, and you need the difficult times to shape who you are now.
Yeah.
And this program's great for that because it can be very difficult.
Yeah.
At all times.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, what would you say of those things that you've learned over the past 5 years? Like, what would you say has been the most useful in helping you either get through the program or, you know, continue to work through it now?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think taking everything that you're around for what it is, but also really questioning it, but also reflecting on it, whether it's good or bad. You know, I think we're in Cambridge, Ontario right now. It's sort of I was thinking about this the other day walking to school, but it's really interesting going to school and thinking about the future and what we could build while being in what is a quaint, quiet town.
Yeah.
It's almost like a dystopia of some sort.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, they shoot all the dystopian movies are shot, so it's kind of perfect for that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like everybody in every corner is just like, this isn't real. This is all part of a simulation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think even being in a space like this, it's sort of, whenever I come back, it's sort of like having a space to really figure out what we love, like what we want to design, or what it is that makes us passionate, or what encourages us to design, while without any, I would say, distractions. I think
that's totally fair.
I think it can be pretty, at least I get pretty overwhelmed in being stimulated with, you know, whether it's like a really big city or a lot of people. So I always come back here, and it's always nice because there's so many ideas floating around, and it's almost like there's really, we're in this small town, and I don't want to stress that it's small. I know it is big. We're just in a small part of the town, I guess. But it feels like, you know, this is where we are, and things are gonna grow, and things are gonna get, you know, change, and we're part of.
Totally, we're part of that fabric.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, actually. Like, just taking that chance to reflect on where you are, and a great thing about the program is that because we're in and out so much, it's like you get to leave and then come back and leave a little checkpoint, you know, and see who you are. And that's why it's so good in this last term to look back on who that person was in first year, and then think of who you are now and be like, okay, yeah, that's like, we've done some serious growing and learning. Like every one of us. It's wild.
Yeah, that's probably why, like, I started thinking about that, really, is because it really felt like a time warp. Like, we paused, and that shell of a person sort of still like remained ghostly in this place, and then we came back to it.
It had helped that we got here in spring, like right at the start of spring, so it was like it was in winter waiting for us. Not to be egotistical, but it was in winter waiting for us, and then our cohort group came back, and the green came back. It's beautiful. So that's really good. Emily, do you actually plan on becoming an architect after doing all this school?
I think so. I think that's definitely a goal of mine. I don't really exactly know what that looks like, or whether it's just tangent to architecture or you know, part of it, but I think that's definitely still a dream.
No, definitely. And it's a good one to have because you're already at least halfway there, right? I don't know.
I don't know how it works.
But you're getting there.
Someone's gotta.
And I've seen your work. You will make a fantastic architect.
Oh, thank you, Owen.
I'm very excited to see what you do.
That's really
down
sweet.
The line. And speaking of creating, you've talked a lot about creativity. Like, it's clear that your life has kind of orbited around this idea of creating and art and architecture and things like that. And creating is definitely not a simple or easy thing to do. It's obviously, it can be tiring, but it's also very fulfilling, very beautiful. But what is it that drives you to create and to continue to create even when it's difficult, or, you know, when it's the most fun, things like that? Like, what is it that drives you to create, would you say?
I think it's a continuous cycle of questioning what's around me and not deriving from an answer, but learning something. And it's like this cycle of, you know, why is this like that, and then reflecting on it and sort of seeing things in a different lens. I think that's what always encourages me when I feel like not stuck, but it's weird when we say design can defeat you. I don't want to say that, but I think it weirdly can put you in your own like mind space, because we're just like thinking from one person, yet we're thinking for so many.
Oh, totally.
You know, so
100%.
many questions. Yeah, I don't know what. Can I turn the question to you?
What drives me to create?
Yeah.
Emily, you do.
Oh, thank you.
It's exactly this. Just getting the chance to
talk to people, yeah.
Explore what different people's lives have been like, how they've seen things. So
yeah, I agree with that point. I think it's talking to people too.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's like so much easier to create with someone else. Not collaborate. Collaborating's hard. But to create with other people is so much easier. Like, it just brings everything up, because then, you know, everyone asks a different question, like you were saying. And you would never know that until you work with other people. Yeah, and I think it's really interesting to see how other people think. Because it's like, you can only know so much about someone, but once you ask them, you know, what they think about something, you learn like 10 times more. Instantly, of like, yeah, totally. Well, that was fantastic, Emily. Thank you so much for talking to me. I had a lot of fun. No problem. Nice talking to you too. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope everyone out there listening enjoyed it as well. And Emily, say goodbye to the fine people out there. Goodbye, everybody. It was nice talking to you.